Hey, of course, we're going to keep going with Jimmy Stein's countdown today, but we also got to talk about some guys that'll be on the countdown in the future.
You are Locked On Bama, your daily podcast on the Alabama Crimson Tide, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back into Locked On Bama. Luke Robinson, that's me. Jimmy Stein, that's him. This episode is brought to you by, well, all of our sponsors, because there's nobody specific, but thank you for making us your first listen today, as Jimmy and I both decided to be back in black this morning. Jimmy, let's start with the updated rankings from you guys over there at On3. A couple of Alabama's, at least one Alabama guy got the Bama bump, and one Alabama guy got the Alabama anchor. Dorian Barney moved down like 20 some odd spots from in the 40s to in the 60s. Again, I mean, you're sort of picking nits when you get to that point, right? But meanwhile, Juice Gordon moved up about 20 some odd spots. So really no harm, no foul.
Yeah, I mean, I think Juice isn't done rising myself, just in terms of how ultimately it will finish. But I predicted he would be a riser, and he was just days later. And let's see how the other services, of course, rank these kids 24/7 and Rivals and ESPN. It all factors into the On3 industry ranking. I think Juice will continue to rise. I think he's a national elite prospect. I personally think that he could even end up in the top 100. That's how good I think he is. But any kid that's in the top 200 is a really good prospect. Think of rankings this way. Most don't, but you should. Think of rankings this way. Let's say everybody signed in 25, and whoever signs the best class in the country signs the top 25 kids. And whoever is the second best at recruiting signs the next 25. And then the third best signs the next 25. If you do it that way, actually a top 200 player is going to sign with a top 8 program. I mean, think of the math. I mean, that's a top 8 program. So a top 200 kid is a really good player, and a player that deserves to be at a top 10 program. So I think even where he's at, it's indicative that Juice is a good prospect. I think he's getting better. As for Dorian Barney, 40 to 60 is a fall. But, you know, sometimes when kids move in the rankings, by the way, sometimes a kid doesn't move down. Others have just simply moved up. Other players have been found that are like, hey, this kid's good, this kid's good, this kid's good, this kid's got to move up, this kid's got to move up. When that happens, someone's going to come down. But the top 60 national prospect is a really, really good prospect under the thing I just went through, right? That's a guy that's going to sign with the second or third best program in the country. So top 60 means that you're a heck of a prospect. And again, the rankings process is still in flux. It's still a process. And I try not to get all upset about it, but it's crazy how many people don't understand that the rankings are in flux. They're not complete now. They'll be complete around signing day. That's months away. Think of all of the things left that we can use to evaluate the players, Luke. Summer camps, a senior season, the national all-star games, Elite 11 type, combine type stuff. Injuries, offers that will come in. For instance, so how about Anthony Rogers, Alabama's running back that's committed to Alabama, found out he's going to take an official visit to Ohio State. Some people are panicked over that. The way I'm choosing to look at it right now is I think it's cool Ohio State thinks so much of Anthony Rogers.
I'm with you on that. I don't think he's going to end up there. And look, why not go up there? They probably do. You probably do get some kind of incentive for going. I'm not trying to throw them under the bus and say they're committing an NCAA violation because, you know, frankly, I don't know if anybody knows what that is anymore. So what I'm saying is, why not go on a free trip? I say that all the time. And look, I've been to Columbus a gazillion times. It's not exactly a tropical location, but when you go to Ohio State as a top tier running back, you're going to get the red carpet treatment. So go up there and get you a good steak or two.
And let me tell you about the Alabama bump, because you mentioned it earlier, and I think this is funny. Hey, Jimmy's giving Anthony Rogers, Turbo, I'm giving him a bump because Ohio State's giving him an official visit. In my mind, I think more of Anthony Rogers because Ohio State is using an official visit spot on him, and you only get about 60 or 70 of those to give out, per school. So in my mind, so we can call that right here on this show an Ohio State bump, because if there is a Bama bump, it's for that same exact reason that I'm given for Rogers and Ohio State. If Ohio State spent an official visit on this kid, maybe he's even a little better than I thought.
Look, if you get an Ohio State bump and a Bama bump, you might as well be at Club 54, baby, because you're doing the bump for sure. So you're getting bumped like nobody's business.
You ain't bumping uglies.
No. You got more bumps than a teenager's face. Sorry for any of our teenage listeners, but I got teenagers. I know, and I was one.
I fought that fight in the day.
Oh, is there anything worse? By the way, again, not exactly anything relevant here. There's a commercial now, and I think it's for what's the one that's Harmony, eHarmony. They show two people, like a man and a woman, and like they show the man like leaning back with no shirt on, and the woman's behind him, and she sees a pimple on his back, and she goes to pop it, and then they go eHarmony, where you find people who get you or something. I'm like, okay, I don't want to see that. Don't ever show me that again.
Yeah, I'm bumping eHarmony down.
eHarmony is getting they're getting the Auburn bump, the Auburn drop, as they like to say. But all right, here's the other thing I want to say about this top 300. You look at this thing and you talk about let's go with the On3 ranking of the Alabama recruits. Anthony Tank Jones. I mean, he's listed as number 9 player in the country, only a 4-star, because you guys just aren't doing 5 stars yet for the most part.
That's right, too early.
And I feel like he probably ends up at Alabama. I feel that way. Of course, that is no codlock. Then there's Hezekiah Harris in Huntsville, and the world seems to think he's going to be at Auburn. Maybe so. I don't know. What do you think?
That's the early leans, I would think, is Tank to Alabama and Hezekiah to Auburn. That's the earliest leans. These are 2026 guys. So you're talking about signing day is not till December of 2025 for these guys. So there is a long way to go. But early on, I would go Tank Alabama, the Huntsville kid to Auburn. And by the way, Tank, who's listed in a lot of places as a linebacker or as an edge, that kid's growing and adding weight big time already. I think he will be a bandit at Alabama, which is currently the positions being played by Jamarian Latham and LT Overton. I think he's going to be in that size when he's in college.
Then there's Zion Gibson, who you brought up in yesterday's podcast. Go check that out. We were talking about a cornerback there, and he took a big move up going to number 44. And again, I mean, it seems like the predictions are 32% Auburn, 28% Alabama.
I like Alabama here early. I'm not as adamant about Tank as a solid Alabama lean. I would say Gibson is more like an Alabama, slight edge. Today, if we're predicting today, which would be really a dumb thing to do, I would say Gibson, Alabama. If we're predicting today.
Then there's Shadarius Tootle, who you don't hear a lot with Alabama, but he is a linebacker, so you never know. We're going to try and take every linebacker in the country. And another linebacker is Jaquez Wilkes from Wadley. And, I know a little bit about this guy because somebody was telling me he's sort of in our area. And he's just so much bigger than everybody. He just barrels through people. He plays some running back too, as I understand it. And he's just a problem for folks.
Yeah, and again, way early. We're just doing this for fun. But Shad Tootle does not even have an Alabama offer yet today. I would say watch Alabama for Shad Tootle. I mean, I think that's an Alabama type kid. May have to earn an offer in camp this summer, but we'll see. It's very early. He's got a lot of good offers. I mean, he is a national top 100 guy to me. Again, these 2026 guys are just now making a name. These are guys that just completed their 10th grade seasons. So there's a lot left to prove for these guys. But I would say Shad Tootle, Alabama, and the Wadley kid to Auburn.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. The Wadley kid is just very, intriguing to me. But let's talk a little LinkedIn. When you're hiring for your small business, you want to find quality professionals that are right for the role. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs has the tools to help you find the right professionals for your job faster and for free. LinkedIn isn't just another job board. LinkedIn helps you hire professionals you can't find anywhere else, even those who aren't actively searching for a new job, but might be open to the perfect role. In a given month, over 70% of LinkedIn users don't visit other leading job sites. So if you ain't using LinkedIn, you're on the wrong site, bruh. Look, LinkedIn knows that small businesses are wearing so many hats and might not have the time or resources to hire. So you need to go check them out. They are taking care of you. 2.5 million small businesses use LinkedIn for hiring. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/LockedOnCollege. That's linkedin.com/LockedOnCollege. Post your job for free. Terms and conditions, yeah, they're going to apply. The delay on that second locked on thing is really, really quite irritating. But okay. So, Jimmy, second thing I want to talk about, first of all, shout out to my main man, Brandon Miller, for making the NBA all-rookie team, first team. Cool. He's the last player to do it was Antonio McDyess, like in the mid-'90s. So, kudos to him. And he deserved it. I mean, he averaged over 17 points a game. Can't wait to see him either elevate Charlotte to playoff status or go to a team that cares about basketball. One of the two.
Do you remember the Charlotte fans booing when they drafted Brandon? Because they
got to be. If you don't feel like a fool now, if that was you, then you should. 100%.
I want to keep reminding them of that. And I mean, that just, of course, as Alabama fans, infuriated me because we knew how good Brandon was and how good he would be. I'm not even surprised that Brandon's basically the second best rookie in the league. I'm not surprised at all. I sort of expected this. I guess Charlotte fans didn't. I hope they're not disappointed that he's good.
Yeah. It is one of those things where like, hey, I hope you guys didn't want to be right. I mean, because anyway, Quincy Porter, a wide receiver out of New Jersey. We already have Lotzer Brooks out of New Jersey for next year. And by the way, there was I can't post it because I don't know what I can post anymore on this site while I'm doing the YouTube.
Virtually nothing.
Virtually nothing is what my understanding. So I can't post the video, but there is a great video of him circulating where he made just an unbelievable catch. Now, I mean, the catch itself wasn't great. I guess it was the athleticism to sky so highly and go up and get the ball that sort of drop jaws. But Quincy Porter is another guy in the New Jersey area that Alabama is looking at for the wide receiver position. And, borderline 5-star kid, looks great, visited Alabama. What have you heard about that visit?
Went well, as most visits to Alabama do. I mean, kids are knocked out. Our facilities are unbelievable. The coaches are great. There's nothing not to like about the trip to Alabama. And I think any kid that goes on a trip to Alabama is a serious threat to sign with Alabama, period. The key is, and this is a good recruiting life hack when it comes to recruiting, the key is how many visits they come to campus. I think Alabama feels like, if you can get a kid on campus like 3 times, 3 visits, an official visit, 2 unofficials, they feel like we got him. We got him. And so it's not just the official visit going well. It's, will he come back or how many times he's been there? And that should really show you where Alabama stands with the kid, especially one from so far away. It'd be so weird to end up with 2 wide receivers from New Jersey in one class. That would be crazy. Quincy Porter's ranked more highly, I think, than Lotzer Brooks. And Brooks is awesome. So that's what gets me most excited about Quincy Porter. If he's rated higher than Brooks, bring him on.
I didn't know you were going to finish up right there.
That's funny. You were on mute for just a second, which was fine, but I had to mute for a second because I had to cough. We were both muted. Boy, what a great show. You ever watch that show, Locked On Bama? Both hosts are on mute.
It
only happened for a second.
It's 30 minutes of potential silence.
It's literally a show about nothing. Take that, take that, Seinfeld.
It's just two dudes who dress moderately alike. Both of them have sort of high hair, and one of them's got a little whiter high hair. That's it. But anyway, I'm excited about this kid. There is part of me that's like, there's some other wide receivers in this area. There's one in here in Alexander City called Cedarian Brooks. I called Cedarian Brooks. He's named Cedarian Brooks. I mean, I guess you call him that, but he's named Cedarian Brooks and Cedarian Morgan, not Cedarian Brooks. I'm getting all my wide receivers mixed up. Cedarian Morgan. And he's a good player, big dude, big target. And I'm certainly on board if Alabama wants to go after him pretty hard. Right now, it seems like he may be favoring Florida State, at least according to some of these crystal balls, et cetera. But he seems like a big target that I certainly would be glad to have on board. But if the coaching staff, I'm going to give them the same leeway I gave Nick Saban. If the coaching staff believes there are two receivers in New Jersey better than any receivers in the state of Alabama, go for it. Go for it. You got to go get who you got to get to win. So go for it. And so, yeah, I'm on board.
I'm pretty high on Derek Meadows as a well-known, big-time, nationally rated wide receiver. I think Alabama's got a really good shot at adding him to the commitment list. You already got lots here, Brooks. I would say, in terms of how many receivers Alabama's signing, I think 3 is probably the number. They've already got, you got 12 on scholarship right now. Not many are running out of eligibility. As a matter of fact, I don't think any of them are. Now, of course, some of them will portal out. Some of them will go pro. I even think Jeremy Bernard is a chance to be a one and done at Alabama and off to the NFL. Kobe Prentice and Kendrick Law are draft eligible. Kendrick Law could have the combine renamed after him. He will test so well. But that said, you probably want to sign maybe 3 receivers, and you already have lots here. Brooks in the fold. I think he's the only one. So you're looking to add 2 more. I think Meadows is a guy that Alabama probably is in good shape with, but there's several others. Marcus Harris from California, Travis Smith from Atlanta, Quincy Porter from New Jersey. These are all very strong possibilities for Alabama as a potential add to the class.
Jimmy, I'm going to tell everybody about Yahoo Finance. And I mean, this is so easy to talk about because it's so easy because my dad can do it. Yahoo Finance, it's awesome. I'm telling you, look, I'm serious about this. My dad is the opposite of tech savvy, whatever that is. And he uses Yahoo Finance for all of his stuff. And he's got a lot of different stuff out there, and he uses it and he just loves it. It's so easy for him to navigate, and he needs it to be easy to navigate. But he also has a lot of complicated things going on. Yeah, somebody else had to set up a few things for him, but he now can navigate and see all of his different investments. For more than 25 years, Yahoo Finance has been the brand behind every great investor. That includes my dad, who I consider to be a good investor. Whether you're a seasoned investor or looking for that extra guidance, Yahoo Finance gives you all the tools and data you need in one place. They are the number one finance destination, producing a holistic look at financial news cycles, including breaking news, original editorial perspectives, analyst ratings, independent research, customizable charts, and so much more. For comprehensive financial news and analysis, visit the brand behind every great investor. That's yahoofinance.com, the number one financial destination. Look, it's yahoofinance.com. It's so easy. Go to Yahoo, or just type in yahoofinance.com. You can just go to Yahoo. There's a finance tab up there. Couldn't be any easier. Yahoofinance.com is where you want to go. And I should mention, you can set up all this stuff for free. So just go do that.
Whoa, free. One of my favorite words.
We're back to Jimmy Stein's roster countdown, and we have reached number 74.
Isn't that something? It is 74. Right? It is 74.
That's Noah Carter.
Noah Carter, 74. Well,
Noah Carter.
This is Noah. This would be Noah, not Nell. Correct.
Noah, much smaller.
Nell was rated much lower. By the way,
is Nell dead? Dead or alive? Nell Carter dead or alive? Got to be dead.
I'll go
right?
dead. I'll go dead.
She was. I mean, it looked like she was a goner at any minute back when she was on her show, Nell. And now I don't know. I mean,
I'm going to ask Siri right now and find out.
No, you just keep talking about Noah Carter, and I'll look it up.
Okay, yeah, I'll talk about Noah Carter, and you look that up and see if we got a alive or dead correct for the first time in our lives. We'll be dead by the time we ever get one right. Well, Noah Carter, we have reached the portion of the rankings list where I'm still projecting a red shirt here, but the degree of certainty is much less because I think Noah Carter may very well play. There are two things that sometimes necessitate a red shirt, and he fits both. One is he's a late arriver. He wasn't here in the spring, so he didn't get a chance to learn the scheme and get adjusted to playing college football. He won't get to do that really until fall camp, to some extent this summer when he arrives, but really fall camp. And that often leads to red shirts. Another thing that definitely leads to red shirts is depth at your position, and he's showing up at a spot that's crowded, right? Q-Rob, Keanu Coote, there's your top two outside linebackers. They're going to play a ton of snaps. Quay Russaw had a really nice spring. He's going to be much higher ranked here because Quay had a nice spring. You even have Yanze Pierre that should be playing in front of Noah Carter because Yanze's been there a year, and we all know Yanze Pierre. I think he's a 5-star. I mean, a really good prospect that we're excited about, right? So you look at that and you say, there's no way Noah Carter's going to play enough snaps to shed the red shirt because you got 4 guys in front of him. I agree. That's why I'm saying projected red shirt. But there are always kids, Luke, always, who they're too good to redshirt. They show up and they're like too good to redshirt. The coaches are like, I know it's going to be hard for us to find the snaps, but we've got to find a way because we really need this kid on the field. So I think Noah Carter could be one of those too good to redshirt because Noah is just a fantastic natural pass rusher, and I think he's one of the very best players in this class.
Noah Carter is dead and been dead approximately 21 years. So, even if she had made it, she wouldn't have made it. What's that Seinfeld thing? Like, she said, how old would Aunt Baby be if she were alive today? And he said, she never would have made it. That's exactly what I feel about Nell Carter. And her show wasn't called Nell. I don't know why I said that. Her show was called Give Me a Break.
There is a movie called Nell.
Yeah, I think I just got screwed up. But she was not in that movie because that movie, it would have been really weird if Nell Carter had been in that movie named Nell. That would not have worked at all. That would have been bad casting.
It would have been. But Nell Carter, by the way, very funny. I remember her being quite funny.
And boy, I didn't know this. I mean, just again, I hope Noah Carter doesn't go through any of this. She had a horrible cocaine addiction, and she even attempted suicide, but she ended up getting through all that. And
she ended up getting through all that and is now dead.
Dark cloud over "Give Me a Break," which was just a very sort of uplifting sitcom back in the day.
That's what listeners are saying right now. Give me a break. Let's move on to Casey Poe.
Yeah, all of a sudden it's starting to sound more like Nell, that other movie. But anyway, okay. So the next guy on your list, number 73, is Mr. Casey Poe, offensive lineman that we expect to maybe get some action this year.
He really could. That's why he's even one slot higher than Noah Carter.
Again, he's going to get some action this year, and he may even play on the field.
Hey, da-da-da. I think Casey Poe is, I'm not going to say probable to play. I'm still going to say possible to play. Again, he was here during the spring. That should help him. But he's playing a position where most kids redshirt. He would probably be well served by a redshirt. And he probably is a 3. There's a first, he's playing guard. By the way, he played guard and tackle in the spring. That's only going to help him. Yes, so he has great positional versatility. I even think he could see time at center at some point in his 4 or 5 years at Alabama. He's got that level of versatility. I think he played tackle in A-Day, played guard a lot during practices. That's going to serve him well. But really, he's probably a third-team player. And if you're a true freshman and you're a 3, you should probably redshirt. And I'm going to project that he does. But I have him as the highest-rated offensive lineman on this list among the true freshmen. I think among the true freshmen, he's the one that's most likely to play. His positional versatility helps him there. He may be like Noah Carter, too good to keep off the field. he showed up big enough too. Some offensive linemen need to gain significant weight. He does not. He showed up, I think, with an SEC body ready to play. So let's put Casey Poe in the we might see him this fall. Too good to redshirt. The offensive line position's not super deep, though there is enough depth to where you can redshirt him. He's just one of these 50-50 type deals that I see with the redshirt. That's why he's ranked so high relative to most of the other freshmen. There's still some freshmen that rank higher. We'll get to them when we get to them. But with Casey Poe and Noah Carter both, you're talking about guys who just may simply be too good to redshirt. 2 mutes in one show.
I know. And maybe he shows up big enough to play like Nell Carter would have.
You've been busting to say that for like 6 minutes.
I know. And I had to be on mute because I was like, I don't want to say it too early and interrupt him. He's kind of on a roll. I do feel like sometimes, and there are people who are about to nod their heads, that Jimmy is into a very serious role about a certain player, and it's getting interesting. And I think of some corny joke and throw it in there, and it sort of destroys the mood. So I was going to give you the respect you deserved for that particular one.
It's Casey. I asked for no respect. It's respect for Casey Poe and Noah Carter, both, neither of whom starred on Give Me a Break in the 80s.
Well, good. I'm glad you asked for no respect because I was lying about that.
We're the only people, no one listening to the show is old enough to remember Give Me a Break.
It's not. I do think, I'll tell you, I do think there are a couple that are, though, like Dwayne, who I saw at the AAU thing the other day. I don't know exactly how old he is. He sort of has that, like, if you told me he was 50, I'd buy it. If you told me he was 40, I'd buy it. If you told me he was 35, I'd buy it. Like, I could go any direction. But if he's about our age, he's sitting there going, I know me some Nell Carter. So anyway.
People say the same thing about me. They just use 100, 90, and 85. If you told me he's 100, I believe it. If you told me he's 85, I believe it.
I've always said that about Alex City. I think I've said it on there before. We are stuck in a time warp. That you look at me, and if you see me, like most of the time, people are like, I'll tell them I'm 51, and they're like, there's no way you're 51. And it's not because I'm so good looking. It's because I do have a baby face. I still can't grow a beard. And I've got like this long torso, lanky arms. I have very little hair on my body. I'm like some kind of, hair, what do you call it? Mexican hairless with mange. I'm just sort of, I'm a weird looking dude. And so people can't tag me with an age. And, but most of Alex City is like, once they hit about 20, if you told me, hey, that person's 48, I'd go, yeah, I could buy it. They go, no, he's really 21. I go, okay, I can buy that too. Alex City has a time warp from age 21 to about age 68. When you hit about 70 in Alex City, you usually fall off a cliff. And so I've got about 19 years left is the way I look at this.
I think when people walk by you in Alexander City and they go, oh my gosh, something's terribly wrong with that tall child. That tall child may be terribly ill.
People say that all the time. They say it all the time, even when they're just talking to me on the phone. Okay. That's going to do it for today's podcast. We'll be back tomorrow with more. Until then, roll tide, everybody.
Roll tide.